Hey there, all you creepers and reapers. Welcome to another episode of the Femme Fatalities. I'm your co-hostess, Anna, and I'm here with...
Hey, Grieflings and Frightlings, it's Margaret, and boy, do Anna and I have an unnerving cast for you today. Anna,
That's...
what movies?
We're about to get kind of creepy today. We are talking about the different creep films. So there was one in Europe around 2004 that we'll be talking about, and then there is Creep 1 and Creep 2 that were in the US that came along a little bit later, and they've actually been turned into a mini series as well. We're just talking about the films today, but we are going to get kind of creepy. Lots and lots and lots of triggers. The I guess we could say the original creep or the European creep. Subway, cars, suicide, sexualization, sexual harassment, medical experiments.
Sexual assault.
Yeah.
A very brutal, even though it's off scene, it starts on scene. Murder, a curved giant blade sexually killing a female person.
And we'll probably talk about that again. I have some feedback. I'm interested to know what you think about that. Also, keeping humans in cages. To me,
medical experiments.
Yeah, the mutant was like the least creepy part of it. Also, there is a dog. The dog lives. If this is an area of concern for you, I know it is for Margaret and me, so I can assure you we have both watched it. The dog is okay.
Yes.
The other creep movies,
nudity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get that one out of the way.
Okay.
Discussion of sexual assault. Terminal illness, deceit, imprisonment, stalking, inappropriate behavior. What else?
Animal costumes.
I love Peach Fuzz.
Me too. You too. Also, just the dangers of the online community, right? I think for me too, I don't know if anyone else, when you have watched it or if you're going to watch it, but for me, it's like the whole caution to the wind aspect of, I'm going to pay you $1,000 cash, come here to the middle of nowhere. Because I feel like if I had a client that was like, hey, I need a thanatologist for the day, it pays $1,000 cash, come to this remote location, I'd be like, okay, I need a copy of your photo ID, I need a deposit, I need the address, I need this, I need that, and I would make sure, like, people in my circle knew where I was going to be. Like, I'd have, like, an Apple tracker on my vehicle for that day, like, so I feel like that was, to me, a little concerning because that didn't seem to be happening. And I was like, man, these, well, I don't even know if they were protagonists, really. I'll use that term loosely, but these protagonists are really not thinking ahead here. But
no, they were not.
Yeah. So I guess before we get too much into it, since we're already starting to talk about Creep 1 and 2, essentially, let's continue. So essentially, we've got Joseph / Aaron. And I love how in the second one, he takes his victim's name from the first one and is like, okay, my name is Aaron now. So he must have really liked him.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love Mark. How do you say his last name? Duplass. His character. I love his acting. I felt like he was so... I know you had a hard time because you had seen him in something else. Yeah. And yeah, I feel like he really pulled off this role as like this unassuming guy that in both people are like, okay, the first one, right? I'm helping this guy film a film for his unborn child. The second one, she's going to go connect with him because that's the whole purpose of her YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And how he seems at first, you're like, okay, he's a little weird. And then he gets weirder
Mm-hmm.
and weirder. And the second one, he's having essentially a career crisis.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I still like in the first one where there's the scene where Aaron, his victim or our protagonist, is on the phone, and it's Joseph's phone, and he's like, "Oh, is this his wife?" And she's like, "No, I'm his sister. You need to get out of there." I wonder, was it really his sister, or was it the whole, like in the movie Psycho, where Norman was talking in his mother's voice?
I didn't even think of that. Oh my gosh.
What if that's all part of the
Maybe.
plot? Like, but yeah, the whole stalkery thing, it's just very odd. I think that, um, you spend a day with him, he gives you your money, you get out of there as quickly as you can, and then getting the DVDs. It almost is like we were talking about another film earlier today, Dead Talent Society, where like urban legends, like it's the whole you go somewhere, you experience something, and then it haunts you, right? So he's almost haunting them and taunting them with these DVDs and different things. And I think that the way he kind of customizes each video or experience to the person, he's very calculated.
Yes, he's extremely calculated. Even think about in the first one
Mm-hmm.
when Aaron's calling the cops and it was like, there's nothing we can do. Okay,
Yeah.
he sent you a stuffed wolf. He sent you a locket. There's nothing we can do. That powerlessness
Yeah.
and how he thrives
Mm-hmm.
on that, and then even plays off of people's empathy when we see even Aaron having empathy
Yeah.
for Joseph, where he's like, okay, like you're mentally ill,
Mm-hmm.
you're not okay. And even then, how Joseph uses that
Yeah.
to get him to meet him again.
Yeah. Like to further manipulate. Then that's
Mhm.
it's just very interesting. And I feel like the first one I felt worse for Aaron than the second one. I feel like Sarah was manipulating him just as much as he was manipulating her. Um, at some point, even in the end, because we don't know if he actually kills her, I'm like, maybe these two are just like a match made in heaven. Maybe.
Well, doesn't that one end where she's on like the subway or the bus and somebody's filming her and you're left to assume
Yeah, so you
that it's him?
it's
Yeah.
because he whistles the song Sarah. But then I'm like, well, is he going to kill her, or are they going to go get married? Because obviously they've met their matches. But yeah, I do think that what she's doing, because we don't really know the level of consent with her YouTube videos, like, is that really a victimless thing that she's doing?
I believe she asked. Like, I thought that was like set up, like where she would ask people. I feel like there was,
Yeah.
like, I remember something.
So, like, yeah.
Yeah, but it was still, and I feel like you touch on the second one, touches on this, like, again, a lot of modern horror touches on this voyeuristic nature of society because of social media,
Mm-hmm.
where we, even YouTube, where we want to see, we're curious. And so she is taking that and using that,
Mm-hmm.
preying off of that. So yeah, Joseph does meet his match where, like you're
Yeah.
saying, Aaron is more empathetic because
Yeah.
he really,
Like a
he
nice
feels
guy.
bad for
Yeah.
Joseph.
Well, and even in the beginning of the second one, he's befriended this poor guy, and then he slits his throat. Like, I'm just like, oh, so they've had a very, I assume long relationship compared to like the first movie where it was just like, okay, I kill you within a couple days.
Well, he gets rejected, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering in the beginning of the second one, is if you play Joseph's game, if you enter
Mhm.
into this unhealthy relationship,
Yeah.
with him? Or was it Joseph's ruse this time? He's like, okay, I did that with Aaron.
Hmm.
Now I'm going to befriend somebody and then
Yeah.
kill them.
Hmm.
It feels like Joseph is playing with how he wants to
Yeah.
kill people.
Yeah, it's like each film is probably, and I haven't watched the miniseries yet, but each film is probably very different. So maybe he has different things that he can watch. But I do think for me, comparing the two, I think that Erin was much more likable than Sarah, because the scene when she's in the bathroom and she's like, do I stay and manipulate him to get what I want? I just, I was like, okay, she's not like, probably not somebody I would want to be friends with.
Do you feel like that? Because for me, I took that as, did in that moment, was she ignoring her intuition? Because it feels like we often
Mm-hmm.
do that. Should I stay? Should I ride this out? Should I see where this goes? Or should I leave?
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like with her, she was ignoring everything in her that was like,
Mm-hmm.
this guy is not okay. You need to get out of here. And then how we often, in this capitalistic society we live in, how we will often ignore our intuition. Let's like, don't do it. And we go, well, I need my YouTube channel to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
I need my paycheck, and the ways we compromise ourselves for money. So it feels like for you, you felt Sarah was way more calculating. And I took her as somebody who's like, well, I have to do something here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I think too, like there was a window right there. She could have crawled out of it. And she made the decision. Like, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like you, like, this person is dangerous. You feel threatened. You're putting a knife in your boot. Like, let's really evaluate this here. And to me, it just was like, it's almost like my life isn't worth as much as my success. And it's like, well, if you're dead, you're not going to be able to enjoy it.
Well, I feel like in two, Joseph met his match
Yeah.
with Sarah, which he liked. Like he
Mm-hmm.
actually wasn't used to somebody
Mm-hmm.
actually challenging him, coming up against him,
Yeah. Well, and
where he almost died.
yeah. Well, and he was accurate in what he told her, though. He's like, I'm not going to kill you in the next 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So, the end scene was kind of perfect because it was way after 24 hours. It looked like it had been a while, too, because her hair was a different color and it was quite long. Um, so,
Yes.
yeah, he'd been planning for a while. Of course, he probably, as you said, he almost died. He probably needed some recovery time, too. Um, but
So, yeah, oh, go ahead.
I'm just like, for me, well, okay, the first part would be $1,000 for the day, right? To me, and I feel like too, in this age of like Craigslist and online ads and, Instagram and DMs and all these things, you have to be super cautious, right? So
Yes.
first giveaway is $1,000 for a day, because the people that I know that get paid like between $1,000 and $5,000 a day, they're not videographers, and you have to be extremely safe in those industries. So immediately for me, it's like, okay, wait, red flag. Pulling up, there's an axe in a stump. You're in the middle of nowhere. Like, to me, I'm like, these are all red flags. Why isn't anybody's natural alarm going off? It just, I don't know. But I guess it's
I
like,
feel like they were. And they were ignoring it because $1,000 a day.
yeah, maybe, but I would like to think, I have more faith in people that they would be like, F this, it's not worth it, and leave. So, but I guess, it depends. I mean, $1,000 for a day, if it's like a regular 8-hour day, that's pretty darn good. I feel like it's weird to me that like the same formula works too. And in the first one, I'm like, is he killing all the people at this house because all the tapes were there? But then the second one, I'm like, well, no, because he went to the other guy's place. So I'm kind of, because you would think of his hunting in the same area, at some point, like, you might notice 30 people missing over the span of 20 years. I don't know.
I
It
don't
just made me
know.
very curious. And also, what does he do with their bodies? Does he bury them all in the woods? Like, leave them to be found? I'm just all of these things. I'm like,
I think he buries them in the woods. Because he was digging him in
yeah,
Sarah's
yeah.
grave.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. And also, he wears a wedding band in both films. Once again, I haven't watched that miniseries, so I'm interested to see if he continues to wear it, because if he does, has he been married? Is he married? Is the spouse dead also? Like, these are all things that I'm just curious about.
I took the wedding band as a way to ease people's anxiety.
Mm.
Because he's already weird. He's already
Yeah.
creepy. So I took it that, or sometimes, in movies, they forget. Like, you have an actor that's married in real
Yeah.
life,
I still haven't.
and it gets forgotten until they still have their wedding band on.
Mm.
So I didn't know if it's
Yeah.
part of the plot or just something that
Kind
got
of.
overlooked.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like too that, you know, especially like from the feminine perspective, like, some dude I don't know is going to pay me $1,000 a day to come to his remote cabin with a camera. And I get there and he has a wedding ring. Another red flag, right? Like, so
Well,
yes.
look at the things she was doing before. Like, it kind of like they lead us to show us like she's already put herself in compromising, weird,
Yeah.
interesting
And
situations. So her
yeah,
filter, her
she's,
bar's lower.
yeah. And maybe she's just like, okay, another one. But hey, if you are listening and you have a business venture offer or any other sort of offer from someone you may or may not know, and your red flags start to go up, do not ignore them. Your life is not worth money or danger. You are worth more
Yes.
than that. So if those red flags start to beep, do not ignore them.
Yes. Oh, agree.
Yeah. So it's very,
Yeah.
it's interesting though, because he says he's killed, what, 39 people, I think, and he's 40. So that's like, well, close to 1.5 people per year since he was a teenager. And also, how does he have any income? These are the, like, I'm so curious about Joseph slash Aaron, whatever his name is. Um, because, like, how do you have any income? Are you the strange guy at work? Do you work remotely? Like, I'm just very, very curious about his backstory. And to me, I think that was the most intriguing thing about both movies, is don't really get a backstory. Anything that he's saying, you probably can't believe or put much credence into, because,
He
he
lies.
manipulates people. Yeah. I don't know. What was the most curious thing about the movies to you?
Oh, I agree. Like, you want to know more about who he is. What is his backstory? Because he is weird at times, and he is very childlike. I think that's why I appreciated just him as a character. Because sometimes it felt like the like Sarah or Aaron, like they were babysitting. Like sometimes, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, you could. And I give those actors credit too, because you could
Mhm.
feel like how exasperated they were. Like, oh my gosh, like Joseph slash Aaron, would you stop? Don't do this. And it felt like his character was also like kids do, like pushing those boundaries. Where are my boundaries with you? How can I push them? So I appreciated that in this film too. So I think my curiosity was really in like, how are people responding to another person that's pushing their boundaries? And then how are they, like, we see Aaron drug Joseph because his boundaries have been pushed and he's not good at establishing boundaries. So he's like, I'll just drug you and then I can sneak out.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, he can't escape. He tried, though. He gets a E for effort. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so overall, I feel like these two, they're entertaining. We'll have to do the creep tapes and talk about that. I thought they were entertaining. They were.
It's very different. Yeah, it's very different. I think that of the two, for me, I liked the first one better because you don't really know what you're getting into, and so there's no formula at all. I think I like that because it was such like kind of an interesting ride, and didn't really know until the end kind of what was going to happen. Which of the two did you like better?
I think I go back and forth just because they have enough difference to them that I like them both. I don't know which one I like better.
Cool.
Yes.
Well, and if you, before we go on to Creep UK, you pull up to a cabin in the middle of the woods. You see an axe and a stump. Joseph Aaron answers the door. Do you go in?
No, would you? I'm already not making that. I'm not driving to a secluded location, first of all. So, no. Like, and I was checking my notes because I also, to piggyback your question for you, all the times that Aaron could have done something different, right? First of all, he stayed and looked for Joseph after talking to the sister on the phone.
Yep.
He went outside and looked for Joseph. And then he went and met him at the park. Would you, so answering your question and then those, at any point, would you have done something different than Aaron?
Okay, so the only reason I would have actually like proceeded in the first place and gone in would be if the film were changed, the setting were at night and I were a vampire and I were hungry. Yeah, invite me in. That's the only way. I think from my perspective, I would hope I wouldn't be there in the first place to kind of do the things that Aaron did. But I always say no one and nothing is worth my freedom or my life. So, no. Somebody tells me that this MFer is dangerous, I'm out. I'm not coming near you. I know you're dangerous. I'm not trying to see if I can take you on. I'm not trying to see how you feel. I'm trying to take care of myself. And you know, as me as that sounds, like, you know, you don't know this person if they are a danger. Are they a danger to you? Are they a danger to your family, your friends, to society? How deep is this really running? So I just, you know, I could see if the sister would have been like, you know, my brother's deeply disturbed. He needs a lot of help. It might not be a good idea for you to come around anymore. That's totally different than what she said. She's like, get out of there, leave, and don't look back, right? So very, very different.
Yes. So we're both in agreement. We're no. And as soon as I know you're dangerous, I'm out. Take my chances running through the woods, find a neighbor, find a road, something, not sticking around. And if you're like, oh, please, I'm sorry, I'm disturbed. Great, I'm not meeting you at a park. And if I am, I'm certainly not sitting with my back to the park so you can sneak up and kill me. I was like, what is this dude doing? Why?
Right?
And he's just sitting there. Do, 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 do,
Yeah.
do.
No, thank you. Mm-mm.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah was smarter. Well, she had her guard up. She was looking
Yeah.
for things, unlike Aaron, who was naive.
Well, and I think that Sarah was more in practice because, she was answering these ads, she was doing those things to her YouTube channel, so she was more in practice. Whereas Aaron, here, he thought he was just, shooting a video for like, a guy who
A
wanted to
dying.
for his kid. Yeah. Well,
Yes.
it's an interesting watch. I think that, if you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. Let us know what you think. We are going to still be creepy, but now we're going to shift to Creep 2004. And this film is way different. So we do still have some manipulation though. I think that, the movie opens, it's at a party. Our character, who is also from Run Lola Run, which was very much of that time as well, Kate, she's being harassed by some fellow, he's called Guy, that we assume she works with or they have the same friends, and he's just being a creeperito. No play on the title intended. So she goes to kind of meet up with a friend and find a movie star who's supposed to be in town, and things that we all probably did when we were 20 something. And she finds herself stuck in the subway because she had fallen asleep. So now not only does she have to contend with Guy for a short period of time, she also has to contend with someone else who we find out is named Craig. And he is definitely a unique character. There's not a lot of origin explanation once again. So we know that he's probably some sort of medical experiment gone wrong. As we follow the film, we discover his lair that he's escaped out of, and that's how he's trapping all of these people and torturing them. And
It
we
used to
see,
be an underground medical facility connected to the subway.
and there's a lot of equipment that's associated with, OBGYN, fetuses in jars, those sorts of things. Once again, we talked about this before, but trigger warning. There is a very aggressive scene that involves a sharp, curved medical instrument being used vaginally on a woman. It pans away, but for me, I could feel her pain. That was probably my least favorite scene in a movie that I've seen for a very long time. And I've watched all the Terrifiers. That stuff does not bother me at all. But I think just because you knew what was happening, the antagonist is creepy in him and of himself, and you really have empathized with the character that's getting attacked because of her backstory. Um, it's not my favorite. I was just like, I don't cringe a lot, but that definitely got me to cringe.
It was cringe. It was up there with the original Last House on the
Yeah.
left sexual assault scene, to where you felt the pain, you cringed, you pulled away, you were like, oh my gosh, like Terrifiers over the top. You see it, you get it. Where these, you're like, oh my gosh, that was I'm with you. One of the worst scenes.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
Right, and I think sometimes European writers and films, they do take more liberties with the level of gore, but it's like more psychological gore because you only see a portion of it and then you hear the rest, or the rest is left to your imagination, and that's really what kind of, at least it gets to me a little bit. So yeah, I mean, splitting somebody in half with a chainsaw, okay, well, whatever, go for it. But that was not great. And really, that makes you wonder more about the backstory, right? Because you know that there were other mutants. So where are they? Did he kill them? Did he eat them? I don't know. Just theories that I have. And what happened to the doctor? Did he die? Well, where's his corpse? There were so many different things that were left unanswered, which I thought was quite clever. I thought it was good. It was more intriguing. But
It was definitely Hills Have Eyes in the subway with one person.
yeah. It was just, yeah. I don't know. When I saw it when it first came out, I was quite young and it really creeped me out. No pun intended again, but watching it again, it still to me had that same just like ugh type of vibe. And not a lot of movies, I feel like watching them 2 decades apart do that for me. So I will, give props to the creator because it definitely left similar impressions on me.
Well, I feel like you touch on.
Yeah. Oh, go
Well,
ahead. Sorry.
I feel like you touched on, right, like with the Creep movies, Creep, the American Creep 1 or 2 play off of certain human fears and curiosities. Creep 2004 UK really plays off of, right, the human fear of small spaces, being underground, the unknown. So that's what makes Craig so much more unsettling, because you don't know. And then that human, so with Joseph, right, he looks human, so we humanize him. We see that with Aaron. With Craig, because he is a mutant, we already have like dehumanized him, and then that makes him more scary. So both films play off of different human psychological factors in different ways, which makes both, again, for lack of a better word, creepy. Joseph is creepy in a different way than Craig is creepy. We don't know his intention. We don't know his backstory. We just know that he doesn't have good intentions. Is he going to murder you right away, or is he going to kidnap you and torture you, which he does with some people?
Yeah. And it's very non-discriminate as well. I think with Joseph, there's this idea of, he's a serial killer, but it seems like everyone that we've met so far, which once again, I haven't watched the miniseries, but everyone we've met so far is around the same age. And they have the same kind of job category. So it's like, okay, there are commonalities, whereas the people in the UK Creep, they're so diverse. Right. So we have like the old guy that worked for the sewer company forever. The guy that had done a little bit of time and then was out working to try and get like some stuff together for his kid. You have like the two people that were living in the subway system and sort of the dog, but the dog does make it. You've got Kate, of course, who's just, a 20-something-year-old German girl living in the UK. So they're like all across the board. And I imagine that like the other ones that he's trapped probably are pretty wide span too. And I'm wondering, because we see these bricks that were like removed and smashed into, I feel like he's been trying to escape for a very long time. And this whole abduction scenario is more recent too, because like we're not seeing bodies everywhere.
Well, he feeds them to the rats, right? But you're right, we don't see the bones.
Yeah. And maybe it's like a very twisted take on like Ben and Willard. Maybe they're his friends, but I love those movies so much. I don't want to kind of categorize them with creep, but it's very strange. And
Great. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was just saying he's strange,
Well,
which
to
I'll.
like touch on what you're saying, yeah, Craig feels very opportunistic. Joseph feels
Mm-hmm.
almost like it's a cat and a mouse kind of thing.
Yeah.
Joseph is getting off, he's getting his kicks off of this engagement and this back and forth, where
Mm-hmm.
Craig, you just happen to come across his path, and maybe he's
Yeah.
going to torture you, maybe he's going to kill you, maybe
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't even know what he's going to do.
Well, and I feel like he doesn't have any humanity. He doesn't know
Mm-hmm.
what he's doing. Like there's no empathy. Like that particular scene that left its mark on both of us. He clearly saw the doctor do that because he's pretending to administer anesthesia and do all of these things. So this is a learned behavior. He's not just inventing this himself. And um so I'm like, I wonder also maybe he was a byproduct of a botched abortion or something like that, which gave him the mutated appearance, the lack of judgment, those sorts of things, right? That we associate sometimes with a damaged fetus that survives, right? And without a nurturing educational environment and proper supports, like this is what he's become. Or maybe, you know, the doctor impregnated someone, held her captive, she gave birth to Craig, and he experimented on him, and that's what was the result. It's such a mystery, and yeah, I really all of the creep genre movies with that title, they do a really good job of making our antagonists very mysterious.
Yes, and I love that you touch on with Craig. We don't know his backstory. Is it a barbarian esque story? And this time the barbarian is a doctor? Is it a botched abortion? And that he doesn't have empathy. He hasn't been taught that. He hasn't learned
Mhm.
that. And like you said, we don't know. Was he experimented on? We know he watched his dad at some point do these things. So he's,
Mhm.
yeah. So I really appreciate how you share that about him.
Well, and I think too, it's a great time to maybe talk about learned behavior, right? So, um, when we're looking at the thanatological sphere of the world, how many of us grew up learning behavior? Okay, well, you have to show that you're a strong person. Don't cry in public, or, keep it inside. It's not polite to share your feelings, those sorts of things, just because you saw a specific behavior does not necessarily mean you need to emulate it, right? So if you're going through grief, trauma, loss, change, any of those things, and what you saw maybe as a child or a pre-adolescent or even an adolescent, or in your early adulthood, learned from family, friends, mentors, etc., and you've realized over time that this may not work for you, or when you were learning that behavior, you realize that you never want to behave in that manner. You don't have to, right? There are great supports and services out there, wonderful counselors who will work with you to break those cycles of behavior, and you really owe it to yourself to explore that if it is an area of concern.
Yes. And I love how you touch on learned behavior, and then what that we can see, like with Craig, his learned behavior is so different from
Mm-hmm.
Joseph's
Yeah.
pushing the boundaries of Aaron and Sarah's learned behavior, those social
Mm-hmm.
constructs. Craig didn't get the social constructs of learned behavior. So he's just going off of one person, where we see
Mm-hmm.
with Sarah and Aaron how Joseph pushes that I'm supposed to be polite. How do I do these things to get out of the situation?
Absolutely. And I feel like Joseph is very good at, even though he's peculiar, he's good at masking as well, because I feel like he plays into what he feels the other person will empathize with or react to the most.
And I love that you bring up masking and how that is so normal and common in society that, and we could even like look at code switching too, where people
Mm-hmm.
have to show up one way at work, at home. And then if you have mental health issues, if you are neurodivergent, then you have another layer on top of that where you can't do the things that you might normally do, because then society would say it's not okay if you're
Yeah.
depressed. You show up to work, oh, I'm so great, it's so wonderful, la la
Mm-hmm.
la, when really inside you're not feeling that way.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a great point. I mean, I actually my non-thanatology gig, um, someone actually commented one day that they don't understand how bubbly and cheery I am every day. And I just started laughing and I was like, trauma. And like, which I thought, to me, it played to my sense of humor and also, the aspect of thanatological truth, right? Because a lot of the time, if you know what it's like to be made to feel like garbage, you're going to try really, really hard not to make other people feel like that. But you're right, it is. It's kind of this mask or image that we have, that we show people in different aspects of our life. And even if maybe it's not their preferred way for someone to behave, that's what they associate with us.
Yes. Oh,
Mhm. Yeah.
so
Well, I
lots of
don't know.
deep, rich
Yeah,
textures. And
absolutely. And I don't even know if we should go over, do we relate to anyone in these films? Because
no,
no, yeah, it's,
no.
maybe the dog in
Yeah,
the
that's what I was
creek.
thinking. Maybe the dog.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, definitely
Like,
worth a watch. If you are listening, if you haven't seen them, check them out. Let us know what you think. If you like movies of this genre and you've seen something else, let us know. We would love to check it out. Please, please, please give us
yes.
feedback. And until the next time, make sure you drink your bruja brew, eat your coffin cookies, howl at the moon, and
Like, subscribe, follow. Thanks for watching and listening.
bye bye.
See you next time.